Lesson 3, that is your 2 stories about flying. Now, as it is 2 stories, so this chapter is actually divided into 2 stories. The first one is his first flight and the second one is Black Aeroplane. So let's quickly jump on to the first story, that is your first flight. So his first flight here, his refers to a story of a bird, that is seagull. His refers to seagull over here who overcomes his fear of flying. Now, like everybody, like a child is born, so child first fear is walking, and with very difficulty when child starts walking, the second fear comes, that is riding a bicycle. Now when a child is riding a bicycle or when the child learns how to walk, the child is going to fall several times. गिरेगा ही बच्चा because the child does not know how to walk properly or how to ride a bicycle. So there are several times a child actually falls and then get up and then starts walking, then falls, then get up and then tries again. Why? Because the child is not having any fear. But if the same fear is there in a child, maybe the child will never ride a bicycle or maybe the child will never walk again. I know people who started riding and because they fall off the ride and they got hurt badly, so next time they never got on a bicycle to ride again. So why they have never got on a bicycle? Because they had a fear that first time they have fallen and got injury, and that's why the fear is still in their heart. So the story we are going to read is of a young bird and how the young bird was very afraid of flying because of his distrust of his wing. So young seagull had no trust on its wing, and that's why young seagull was very afraid to fly. So young seagull always had a fear that if it would try to fly, it's going to fall very badly and it will actually eventually hurt itself. So his parents constantly upbraided and threatened him also. So his parents used to cheer him and also they used to threaten him that if he will not fly, they are going to die and they would actually die. He is going to die of starvation alone on the edge of the hill. Now what happened? Because you know that because of the change of the weather, the birds are supposed to migrate to another place where the weather is actually suitable. Especially birds are not able to take the very cold wind and winters. So that's why they have to migrate to a cooler summer place, like where there is not a lot of cold is not over there. So winters, basically they have to switch to summers in order to survive. So young seagull's family, they have actually went out. They were flying very high because they have to move from this place, and his brother and sister were also flying very high. But young seagull was so afraid that he was not even taking his first flight. वो थोड़ा सा भी नहीं उड़ पा रहा था. As he would try, he would actually fall down. He would try again on the edge itself and he would fall down on the edge. So as young seagull was not able to fly, so his parents finally decided to leave him alone on the edge. So they decided that they will leave him on the edge and would actually flew away, so that when young seagull would be alone for some time, maybe out of that loneliness, young seagull would try. So as his parents left, young seagull was still over there seeing his parents and taking a far view of them, seeing his brother and sister that they were enjoying their flights. But he was actually very young, and even though he tried, he was not able to do it. He was actually taking very few steps, which he actually failed. Now finally, the young seagull, who was very hungry because he has not eaten anything from a long time, and his parents also refused to give him anything, to feed him anything, so that they wanted that the young seagull should feel the hunger, and out of hunger maybe the young seagull would fly. So but young seagull, he would beg his mother to bring him some food because he was extremely hungry. Seeing the young kid, seeing the young child or young seagull, mother could not resist that maybe the young seagull is very hungry, so she actually bought fish for the young seagull. So maddened by the hunger, as the young seagull was so maddened by the hunger, so as soon as he sees that his mother is actually having fish in his beak, it's in mouth and beak, so he jumps at the fish that his mother has bought. Now when he jumps at the fish, the mother takes her steps back, and when she takes back, so young seagull, it actually flew in order to get the fish. So when he flew out, so he was actually on the edge, and when he flew, he flew outward. So when he flew outward, he realized that he was in open space, that there was nothing, edge was not there, and there was nothing below him. It was just water and the sea. So when he fell outward in the open space, he could feel his wings cutting the air. So he started fluffing his wings and could feel that because of the wind, his wings were actually cutting the air, and because of that he was able to fly. So the next moment he realized that he was flying fearlessly with his brothers and sisters. He was taking huge flight and he was able to fly just like his brother and sister. So this was his first flight where he took a lot of courage and finally was able to learn how to fly. Now the story depicts, the story we have just read, it shows how an inner strength of a person, if a person is very strongly built, even if a person is strongly built but his mental or you can say his inner strength fails, then a person is not going to do anything. Suppose I am very strong but my mind says कि नहीं मैं बहुत weak हूँ, so I'm not going to do anything. So everything is what? Everything runs from here. So everything is basically psychological. If you're not psychologically strong, if you're not mentally strong, half of the things would run out of your way. So the story depicts how inner strength of a person is always helpful to overcome difficult situation. The reason why this young seagull was able to take his first flight was because of his inner strength, and to overcome his fear, the seagull actually overcome its inner fears and could actually handle the very difficult situation because of the courage finally which he has got. Now moving on, the second part of the story is Black Aeroplane. Now you know what aeroplane is, and it was basically black. Why it was called black? Now let's read it in the story. So now the story we are going to read is of a mysterious story. It is a mystery because it is not yet being solved that what exactly happened in the story. That's why it is still a mystery. So it is a mystery of a pilot who flies from France to England to meet his family. So the pilot we are going to read about, he wanted to fly from France to England as it was Christmas break and he wanted to celebrate Christmas with his family. So he decided to go on a vacation to meet his family. So as he was going to meet his family, first of all he saw that the fuel in his plane was very less. It was only that much that he could fly from France to England. Agar usko kahin aur jana hai, then he need to refill his fuel tank. So he started his journey with a very happy note that he is finally, but he wanted to meet his family. So he decided to start his journey, and he was very extremely happy that finally he is going to meet his family and finally they'll have a good happy winter vacation. So when he started his journey, the weather was very calm and everything was clear, the sky was clear, and he started his journey. But as he reached few kilometers, as he passed few distance, then he saw that dark black storm clouds were actually in front of him. Now as he saw dark black storm clouds, he thought that it is very risky to fly over there. Now he had three choices. First one was either to go back to France and give up the plan of going to England. But as he so badly wanted to meet his family, so he decided that he is going to England for sure. Now the second choice was to, here is cloud, so to take a very deep cut and then fly to England. But for this huge cut, he needed lot of fuel, and which he was not having. So that option is also cut off. So the last option was to actually cross the black storm clouds, कि उनके बीच में से वो चला जाए. That was the only option he had. So without even giving it a second thought, he took the risk and went straight away into the storm. As he entered the storm and the black clouds, everything looked black. He was not able to see anything. Even the plane started moving up and down and it was just flipping, and it was really a very difficult situation for him. Moreover, it was not just the physical condition. His compass also was dead. His compass was also not working, and he was not aware which direction he should actually fly now. Everywhere it was black. It was all black. सोचो आप अंधेरे में हो, it is all black room. You and your compass. Compass basically shows what? It shows you direction. And the direction which you were supposed to get, that also you cannot see. So where you are going, how you are going to get out of the room? So how is going to get out of the black dark clouds? So as he was very scared, he was just praying to the God that something might come and help him out and somewhere he could actually get out of this situation. So while he was very anxious, he suddenly saw another black plane that was just standing parallel to him, and the plane appeared and asked narrator to follow him. Obviously plane ne bola nahi tha, but it gave him a gesture that he is supposed to follow the black plane, and black plane would get him out of this dangerous situation. So as narrator was very frightened, first of all because fuel tank was low and he was in such a situation, so that's why he thought that it's right to follow the black aeroplane. Now he started following the black aeroplane, and finally he passed through the black clouds and landed safely on the runway. With lot of difficulties on his way, he was finally able to land safely on the runway. So when he landed on the runway, finally he looked back and he saw that black aeroplane and the pilot was not there at all. He was so surprised that where the pilot and the aeroplane has gone. Out of the surprise, he quickly went to the lady to ask about who the pilot was. A lady who was into the station. So the lady replied that there was no plane except Dakota who flew that night. So she saw the radar and she said that over there was no black plane. It was just the pilot and his plane, whose name was Dakota, which flew that night, and there was no other plane. To which the pilot was highly surprised, and he was still very worried that how it is possible that there was black plane for sure, who helped me. But this lady is saying that there was no plane. So the pilot of the black plane is still an unsolved mystery, because still people are unable to find out what that black plane was. Now there are few reasonings which you can give to what that black plane was. First of all, maybe the black plane was hallucination of the pilot. Hallucinate hota hai when you think and imagine something which is running in front of you. Now maybe the pilot was hallucinating, and why he was hallucinating? Because of his danger to his life. जब आपके लाइफ में डेंजर आता है, there are few things that you actually see which do not even exist. So pilot saw things which do not even exist in order to, that his subconscious mind maybe was trying to help him out to get out of this difficult situation. So hallucination is basically your subconscious mind which helped the pilot to get out of this difficult situation. So that's why one of the reason we can give it that it was pilot who helped himself. उसी ने खुद की मदद की थी. So there was no black plane, it was all imaginary. It was something that was going on in his imagination. The pilot might have imagined that there is something who is helping him out, but there was nothing. It was he himself who helped him out. Clearly it was he himself who helped him out. Now the story teaches us that we should face our challenges with courage and strength. At the time of this type of difficult situation, where we know that if the situation is very hard and we need to come out of it, the first thing we should always have is courage. If we have courage and strength, we can deal with any situation just like the pilot dealt with this situation. So in any hard situation, this first thing we need to have is courage and strength. This is what the story has actually taught us.